Hi, Amy.
Oh, Amy is here. Okay, let me unmute Amy. YouTube stream is live now.
Hi, Amy.
I think Amy is muted.
Oh, Amy is here.
Vicky, you gotta unmute.
I try to. No, I have to ask her to unmute. Just 1 second.
There we go. I think. I hope. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Hi, good evening, everyone.
Happy Friday.
Good evening.
Right? Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we start?
Yes.
Let's wait for 1 more minute. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our information seminar. 大家晚上好。今天晚上我们新的一轮信息讲座。Today we are very honored to have the members of the United Way of Connecticut, Kristen Jacoby and Amy Casabina Hall. We will talk about the service and the information the United Way would provide for us. Many of us heard about the name United Way, but we are probably familiar with we are not familiar with the service details, and today is the opportunity. 请大家，也许大家呢对我们这个机构不是很熟悉。我简单的说一句，我们这个Cheshire 多元文化协会呢去年成立。当时的时候，我们是觉得要促进这个多元文化来改善我们所有的少数族裔，包括华人在美国的状况。原来我们是想搞很多的文化活动，后来想呢，也可以做一些大家更实际的一些，给大家一些更实际的帮助，提供一些对美国人来说是一些常识，很有用的常识，但对我们来说，尤其对我们第一代移民来说不是很熟悉的一些知识。所以呢，我们办过一些讲座。以前我们讨论过 Medicare， 今天呢，我们有幸请到了这个 United Way 在康州的分部2位成员来加入我们。好 ，Without further delay， let's welcome Kristen Jacoby from United Way of Connecticut. Kristen, you probably have to turn on and unmute yourself.
She might need permission.
Liping, you need to unmute her.
Hello, Kristen.
I unmute?
Yes, you're good.
We can hear you now.
Thank you. Hold on one second. I don't know why we're having little glitches. We were all set before.
Yeah.
There we go. Hey, well, hey, I'm Kristen Jacoby, president of the United Way of Greater Waterbury, and I'm so sorry I was muted for a second there, but hey, I'm just happy to be with everyone this evening, and so pleased with talking and planning for this evening. But yes, so many people aren't so familiar with United Way, and I feel that part of that is it's just we do so many wonderful things, and not only do we have a United Way in Greater Waterbury, but we have 15 United Ways in Connecticut, and honestly 1,800 around the world. And each United Way is their own United Way, and what we do what's best for our community, really focusing on our local community, the people in it, and what needs to be done to help people in their lives. And what I love so much about being at United Way for the many years I've worked here is that we constantly evolve and constantly change to meet the needs of the time and the needs of the people in our community. Like we always say, we're not our grandfather's United Way. The goal of United Way is really about bringing people and organizations and communities together around a common cause, common vision, and what really that path forward of what are those local solutions. What I think is so dynamic about what we do as an organization and as people working in our community is really being the problem solvers, hand raisers, and game changers. Once again, really impacting people's lives. United Way is very much focused on three major, we call them impact areas, but three major important areas, which is health, education, financial stability, and looking at health, education, and financial stability for every person in every community. Let me tell you a little bit what that looks like. That can mean helping a child learn to read. It could be donating money to make sure people have access to quality medical care. It could be speaking out in support of policies that provide access to quality preschool experiences and so much more. But what we're really about, we're making positive change and permanent changes. And what we do is we forge really great partnerships, sometimes very unlikely partnerships, but all ways to get the best ideas, to find new solutions to problems, and really usher and mobilize the important resources to do the best job. When I talk about resources, it's not just fundraising, but it's the human resources. Using people's skill sets and unique competencies once again.
Excuse me, Kristen.
Yes.
Sometimes your voice is a little broken, and could you come close to the microphone, maybe?
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Christian, if you click on the upper left corner on your screen, there says original sound. If you click on it, it should say original sound on. Then it will probably improve the sound quality a little bit more.
Is that better?
I think
Yes.
so.
Okay, great. So yeah, just really talking about how United Ways work and what we do to really make sure our communities are doing really well. What I like to say, really, again, it's forging unlikely partnerships, finding new solutions, utilizing resources, both the human and the financial. What's so neat, once again, we don't do it alone. And when we work together, we just know we have better solutions than before. What we want to do is introduce you to one aspect of United Way. Yes, our United Way is working with programs and initiatives in our community. Yes, we're working with all different important partnerships, whether it's corporations, other nonprofits, our local municipality. But we also have this wonderful resource and a wonderful partner in United Way of Connecticut. And so there's so much to tell you about the work we're doing in our community. But once again, today, we want to talk about getting connected and getting help and really introduce you to such an extraordinary important resource in our community, which is United Way Connecticut and United Way 211. 211 is a free confidential information referral service that really is connecting people to essential services and for health and human services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, either online and on phone. We just feel like we provide that you may learn something new about not only United Way, but when you have family, friends, or colleagues that might need a little bit of help, that they'll know where to get that help. I'd love to introduce my colleague that is here today, the true expert on the Zoom call, Amy Casavino Hall, the Senior Vice President of Strategic Partnerships, Development, and Communications at our United Way of Connecticut. And so we're happy to have Amy do a presentation, and then we're happy to field any questions at the end of the presentation. Amy?
Thank you, Kristen.
Sorry.
Amy, you may need to unmute yourself too. Amy?
Liping has to do it.
Liping, please.
Liping, I think you need to unmute Amy.
There we
Okay.
go. All set. Good evening, everyone. I'm Amy, and it's delightful to be here this evening with you. Happy Friday. I was having technical difficulties before we started this call, so I was not able to get on in advance. So Rain, just a quick question. We talked about doing interpretation. Do you want me to move in chunks? How would that work well for you?
I would suggest after you finish each slide, I would do a short Chinese summary.
Great.
And then
Okay.
we continue.
I appreciate that.
That
Thank
sounds
you.
good? Yeah.
That sounds perfect. I love that. It's great to be here, and I've really enjoyed getting to meet some of the folks who've been part of your group. It's really exciting work, and glad to be here this evening with you, but let's just assume this is the beginning of a relationship, and we can continue to figure out ways to stay connected, and if there's areas for us to continue to work on. I put together a PowerPoint for this evening, which I think was sent out in advance. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's got a lot of information in it. I'm not going to go through every slide today, but I wanted to have all that in there in case it can be a resource at a later time for someone who wasn't able to be on the call, or for someone just to go back if they're looking for something in particular. So we won't go through all that detail, but let's go through some of the important stuff. And would you like me to share my screen?
Yes.
Yes, please. Yeah.
No, I don't want you to see my whiteboard. 1 second. Right. See that okay?
Yes.
Excellent. That's what I like to hear. So I did include my contact information on the front. That's my email and my cell phone number, and you are all welcome to use it.
It's hard to tell who is you, Amy, on the picture.
Okay, let me make this a little bit smaller also. And this a little bit bigger. All right, is that any better?
Yeah, that's perfect to me.
Perfect. This is an overview of everything United Way of Connecticut does in big buckets. You don't need to know all of this, but if any case you wanted to know all of this is here for you. We do a lot of things for the state of Connecticut. In many ways, we act as almost an arm of the Connecticut government, really making sure that services and other resources, particularly that are funded by the state, are available to people in Connecticut. But at the other hand, we're our own nonprofit organization, right? Which also means we're nimble, we're flexible, and we're connected to our community. And so it's nice to serve in the role that we do in between those two things. And really want to talk today about 211, which is a service that, as Kristen said, is confidential, it's free, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of a year. And it's all about connecting people who have a need or think they might need something to the right service for them in Connecticut, right? And this is everything from, you know, I need to get to a doctor's appointment, or my parent needs to get to a doctor's appointment. and I don't know how to get them there. I think I need some help. To I'm looking for childcare for my child, and I'm trying to find a quality childcare center near me and that I can afford. To I'm having a major crisis in my life and I do not know what to do. I need some help. So that full range of needing assistance, anyone in any of those situations can call 211.
211呢是 You done right with that page？ 大家好 ，Amy 呢 ？Amy 是United Way of Waterbury 的战略合作发展沟通的副主席。那么他主要讲到了 United Way 的主要职责呢，就是帮大家连接社会各方面的资源，为所有提供需要帮助的人们提供帮助。United Way 是一个非盈利的公益组织，那么它为大家提供免费的还有保密的信息与转介的服务，全年365天24小时无休，大家可以上网或者打电话寻求帮助。他们提供的服务内容主要包括信息与简介，比如说你和你的家人需要预约医生，或者想寻找可以负担的托儿服务，以及你生活中遇到的各种紧急突发状况，都可以向 United Way 求助。
So when people think of 211, they mostly think of calling, right? So you literally dial 211 to reach us, the same way you would dial 911 to reach police. You just simply pick up the phone and dial 211. And any time of the day, any day of the year, what we call contact specialists will be there, ready to work with callers. Our contact specialists typically speak English and Spanish on all of our shifts, but for any call, we can bring in, we have a connection to a translation service, so we can instantly have a live interpreter on the call for any of our conversations, which I think is helpful for people to know.
当人们211呢，就是这3个数字代表的就是他们这个服务专线的电话号码，所以全年24小时无休。然后他们有接线的专员来负责应对处于各种危机中的人们。接线专员主要讲英文和西语，那么但是如果你需要提供其他方面语言的帮助，他们也有现场的这个翻译服务。
And so I say calling for information, we have a database that our phone specialists use, and it has over 40,000 programs in it in Connecticut for residents. We have staff for crisis intervention for youth and adults with anyone who's experiencing a mental health crisis or anything that feels like a crisis to you. So if you have something that feels like a crisis, no matter what it is, we have a team that's ready to work with you on that. And then in times when there's emergencies or disasters, we are part of the state response plan. We're the number you'd call for information on where to get help and to get trusted information, right? That's kind of, our goal is to always be trusted and dependable and accurate and reliable. So when often there's information that needs to get out to Connecticut residents, we work with the state on that to make sure that people have the information they need. Now, whether that's a hurricane, whether that's a terror situation, or whether that's a health emergency, in all of those different areas, we do work.
所以当您拨打211的时候呢，他们提供了非常广的范围的服务内容，包括如果您需要信息与简介，那他们有超过40万的这个项目和服务可以帮您推荐。还有如果你遇到了危机包括心理健康危机以及任何的在你认为是危机的情况，都可以向他们求助。还有包括自然灾害以及恶劣天气，以及还有另外如果你需要一些住房项目方面的帮助，他们都可以向您提供这样的帮助。
So obviously we've been dealing with the pandemic and we've helped lots of people with the pandemic. We've had over 5 million contacts, that's through phone and web, around healthcare and COVID related issues in the last year. But then these are also kind of the top categories that we've received calls over the last year. And you can see the different reasons that people are calling in. Now, we've had a huge increase because of COVID, huge increase, but calls for all of these areas have also increased, which to us says, yes, obviously people have been struggling with the pandemic, but in general, all levels of need have increased. And so working to make sure people have the resources they need in all of these areas.
在过去的一年呢，211收到了与新冠肺炎有关的和医疗情况有关的电话呢，多达500万个。然后呢，除去与新冠肺炎有关的电话问询呢，整个所有的电话问询达到了很大幅度的增长，人们在寻求各个方面的帮助。
And I just want to talk a little bit about what happens when you call 211, right? Because I'm not necessarily comfortable calling something that I don't know what it's about. So just to share a little bit about that. So again, you just dial 211 wherever you are in Connecticut, and you'll be connected to our team. We have a trained group of what we call contact specialists. They go through deep training. So they are hopefully as absolutely knowledgeable and helpful as possible. They are there to work for you and to answer your questions and support you. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, right? They're there as help. Sometimes people call because they just need someone, they're having a hard time and they just need someone to think through a problem or an issue with them. And sometimes people call with, a crisis in their life. No matter why someone calls, no matter kind of what reason you call for, we're going to try to talk with you to see if there's other things we can help you with too, right? So if you call and you have a question around childcare, but you say, you know what, I'm also really unsure how I'm going to make my mortgage payment this month, we'll help you with that also, right? You won't get transferred to another organization or another place. So it's one number you can call for a whole huge range of needs. Oh, you're muted. Got it.
如何拨打211电话呢？当您拨通211以后呢，受过专业训练的接线专员会来向您回应。那么这些接线专员呢，都是受过专业的训练，所以不管您打电话的原因是什么，接线员都会帮您提供相关的帮助。他们不会把您转接到另外的机构去，会和你进行在线上1对1的进行交流。
Thank you. One thing I just want to talk about is there's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of media coverage of some of the crisis lines. There is a big effort to bring the National Suicide Prevention Line across the country, including Connecticut. And some of the state agencies that we work with have their own kind of crisis lines. So if you're experiencing a crisis, sometime in Connecticut, sometimes there's lots of different numbers that are out there. 988 will be the National Suicide Prevention Line number. There's other local numbers. There's 211. But what I want to let people know is they all funnel into one place. They all come to 211, no matter what you dial of these numbers. And the same group of specialists are there on the other end. And I'm always afraid people are confused about all the different telephone numbers that are out there.
目前呢，有很多的危机热线，有自杀预防热线，还有别的一些危机热线。那么所有的这些危机热线呢，到最后呢，都会转接到211。 都有同样的这个接线专员来回应，所以大家不用担心记不住这些电话号码拨打211就可以。
I feel like I'm talking about mental health a lot, and we're talking about mental health a lot lately because there's been such an uptick in mental health needs among adults and children in the last 2 years. And there hasn't necessarily been enough resources. So I sometimes tend to emphasize that because it's where people have found that they haven't been able to get help, and we want to let them know that help is available. And I have to say, I'm really proud. Just yesterday, our team was in Chicago because we won the national award for the best crisis call center in the country, Center of Excellence. We take this very seriously. Our team is incredibly well trained and compassionate and thoughtful people, and they're there all the time. So I just really want people to know that that's available.
我们想再次确认呢，人们重视心理健康尤其是在您遇到任何心理问题的时候，虽然您不愿意寻求帮助，但是我们想让大家知道，就是我们有一群非常棒的专家在这边帮助我们。今年呢，我们的这个中心也是获得了 Center of Excellence 这个奖，所以请大家积极的拨打心理健康热线。
So I'd like to switch over now from the PowerPoint, and I'd like to bring us to the website so people can see how to use the website. Because I think a lot of people look at the website first and try to get information then first, and then sometimes make a call. And there's so much information there. I want people to see what's available and how to use it.
Amy 呢会给大家介绍如何使用这个211专线的网站。
So this is on our website live right now, and there's a couple different ways to search for information. The first way to search for information is to type keywords into this box, or look at these helpful kind of drop-down questions.
Amy,
So,
I think your screen is frozen. Is it just me?
It says it's paused. Thank you. I don't. 1 second. It doesn't want to share both things. Let me figure that out. And I think we can get it to work now. Do you see that now?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. So this is the 211ct.org website, and we can be on it live now to see how you can search for the information you're looking for. The easiest way to search is to type in a keyword or to use one of these kind of prompts from this drop-down box. And so you can see there's lots of options here, right? So from I don't have enough money to pay all my bills to I need food or health insurance. And right now we're still getting lots of questions around people needing some help to pay their utilities. So let's try that. So I would enter that question and I would enter my zip code and use the search function. All right. And you can see it both brings up a list and a map of all the results that match or within close to my zip code. But this is a long list, and there's so many resources, but I find that a little intimidating and overwhelming. So I'm thinking I need help, and Monday morning, this is the first thing that I need to do, right? My bill is due, and Monday morning, I want to talk to someone to get help. So I can go here to a filter, and I can say, I want to know which of these options are open on Monday. And when I do that, it's going to let me know that in my town, I can go to the town of Cheshire, to the fuel bank, and they're open on Monday morning, and the type of services that they provide.
211的211热线的网址是211ct.org。那么当您进入这个网站以后呢，你会看到有一个下拉菜单，那么点击箭头呢，就可以看到您所有它覆盖的这个服务范围。点击您所想要查询的问题，然后在右边输入您的邮政编码，然后比较有帮助的是点下面的黄色的按钮，按进一步筛选show filter show advanced filter 进一步筛选，那么您就可以选择到更小范围的适合您的服务范围。
That was incredibly impressive. I don't know exactly what you said, but it seems like you got through a lot of information. Thank you. I want to let people know that you can go up to the top corner and you can translate the site into simplified Chinese at any time. Every page can be converted. So you can always have a language of preference. And so if you continue to scroll, if I thought, okay, on Monday, I'm going to go to the Cheshire Fuel Bank. That's what I need to do. You can continue to scroll and find out all sorts of information about the organization, their address, their hours, telephone numbers to reach, other programs that they offer. And so you can get more information about that resource that's available. So I want to make sure people know that we try to think about what would someone need to know if you wanted to get help. You'd want to know where they are. You'd want to know, you can use the map to get directions. So if I click on the fuel bank, this is where I thought I was before, you can see the location. And again, all this more detailed information about the organization. If you use the map function, you can find out obviously how to get there, but of course it also includes by car, by walking, by public transportation. So there's different options. So the idea here is to have everything someone would need to be able to act on that need. If you see something that you think would be helpful to know that isn't here, I'd love to hear it, right? We're always making improvements, always trying to make this as easy for people to use as possible and get really helpful information. If you are a parent with children, carving out time of your day to try to go to the fuel bank is incredibly hard. I want to make sure you're there when they're open, when there's someone who's there to assist you, that you bring any of the information that you might need to get services, and that you don't waste any time. That's our goal, is that you have everything you need. So we're always looking for improvements on that, but that's what we're trying to do here.
所以当您看到您筛选的信息以后呢，您还可以点这个屏幕右上角的语言 language， 然后选择您需要的语言。那么当你选到我默认我们所有来听讲座的都是中文，讲中文的那么当您选到中文以后呢，你就可以更进一步的了解到关于这个设施的所有的信息。同时呢，右边还有地图，你还可以看到它的地址和电话号码。那如果您自己认为有一些您知道好的一些资源呢，没有在网站上出现，您也可以Amy 是很愿意愿意得到这方面的信息，你也可以向他们提供这方面的信息总之呢，就是这个网站呢是向您提供整合所有一切可以向您服务的资源的。
There are a couple different ways to find where what the information you're looking for. Again, you can use this box and use those pre-filled search terms. We have a special section all about COVID because obviously there's a lot of questions about COVID still. And then we also have this Healthy Lives Navigator. And I like this because if you don't know what you're looking for, it can help you figure it out since we only know what we know. And I'll talk more about that in a second.
那么如果您在这个网页上继续向下拉呢，除了刚刚讲过的寻找方式呢，那么您向下拉还可以看到有关新冠肺炎的专栏 搜索引擎。那么在下面呢，有一栏叫 Healthy Lives Navigator。那么在这里呢，尤其适用于当您不知道自己需要什么详细的信息的时候，那您可以来这里进行一个评估。这样呢，系统可能能更有效的帮助你。接下来 Amy 会讲更多细节。
And sometimes we know that there's programs or services available to us, and you can search for that and find it. But if you don't know that program exists or that's something that's out there, you're not going to know to search for it. So the Healthy Lives Navigator is a quick set of questions, if you take it. And it just asks basic things about yourself, about your family, and it's going to ask you very high-level questions about kind of just your health, your financial well-being, your housing situation. So it can gather information and say, based on everything you supplied, you may be available. These resources may be available to you. And so you can get a list by category of things to explore that you might not have thought of otherwise.
所以刚刚提到的需求评估，当您进入这个需求评估以后呢，会有一个简单的问卷，那么会问你一些非常基本的关于您个人和家庭的问题。在您提供了这些问题的答案以后呢，系统会针对您提供的答案向您进行信息的推荐。
And I just saw in the chat a question from Rain about people in other states. There are 211s like ours covering 94% of the country. So we're part of a network. Most of us operate independently by state, but we're part of a network. But 94% of the country is covered by a 211. And in all cases, just like in Connecticut, all you have to do is pick up the phone and dial 211, and it will connect you to the 211 in the state that you're calling from.
Jack 刚刚提到一个问题，说如果好的，我来看一下这个，我们有来自其他州的观众，那在其他州的这些服务会不会不同呢 ？Amy 的回答是，其他州也有211的服务覆盖了全美国94%的范围，所以每个州的211是单独运行的，但是呢，它们隶属于这个整个的211的系统中，所以当您在拨打所在州的211，也会提供同样的帮助。
Great. So we've talked about that you can call and talk to someone on the phone. You can use our website to search for resources. I also want to point out that there's a chat function that's available during normal business hours. And so if you're not feeling or in a position to make a phone call or in a position to do a web search, you can just reach out and chat our folks and start a conversation that way. So we're really working on building out and improving that functionality, but it is available during regular business hours. And for a lot of people, they prefer to chat, and that's great. We want a way to communicate with folks in a way where everyone is comfortable.
那刚刚讲到了您联系211的方式，第一个可以打电话，第二呢可以上他们的网站。那第三个呢，还有的人现在喜欢选择在线聊天。那么在他们的网站呢，在线聊天这个功能也在日趋的发展和完善。通常的工作时间是日常工作日的日常的工作时间。在这里呢，您可以有些人可能在自己闲暇时间呢，选择在线聊天，更愿意选择在线聊天。谢谢。
And want to focus on one other thing, which is around children and families and childcare. So 211 of Connecticut is also the place that parents or caregivers across Connecticut can call to find childcare. It's only been the last few years that this is available. And if anyone had to try to find childcare before, you knew it was picking up the book or going online and calling each provider to figure out, did they have any openings? How much did they cost? When did they operate? What type of licensing do they have? And now we have that all under one roof. So parents can call one number, you still call 211, and you can talk with someone about finding safe, high quality childcare near you that fits your budget.
托儿服务信息检索呢，也是最近几年211迅速发展起来的一项服务。在这里呢，您可以找到所有关于康州托儿服务的所有的信息，为您的孩子找到安全和高质量的托儿服务。
And the state runs a subsidized childcare program for parents in Connecticut, which means if you're kind of at a certain income level, you can apply and get some percentage of your childcare costs covered. Thank you. And we actually run that for the state. So if you call and you're like, I need some childcare, but think, ooh, that's expensive. I don't know if I can afford that. Again, talking to the same team, you can be connected to someone who can screen you for eligibility and help to see if you qualify for a childcare subsidy.
康州呢是给一些符合家庭收入要求的家庭提供呢托儿服务的补贴。那么 United Way 呢实际上是恰好是在主要运行这一个补贴的提供。所以当您拨打211的时候，您就可以获得这方面的信息，以及获得可能的帮助。
我打断一下，we have 20 minutes left for our schedule, the meeting time. Okay, let's start. Let's continue.
All right. Well, we're pretty much there. I forgot to click. I wanted to show people what the childcare part of the site looked like. And this is where you can look for a childcare provider. You can enter where you're looking for, the age of your children, what type of program you're looking for. So even if you're looking, not even, but if you need summer camp care for your child, you can go here and find summer camp programs near you. It also includes the licensing and accreditation engine, which is helpful information.
所以呢，如果您需要托儿方面的服务呢，网址是211childcare.org 那么在这里呢，您可以按照地点、年龄不同的托儿项目，包括夏令营进行选择。
Thank you. And one other thing related to children is that we are also a place you can call if you just have a question about your young child's development, right? So I remember when my children were younger and, sometimes I had concerns about behaviors or things they were able to do or not able to do. And you can call 211 and talk to a child development specialist who can help you identify with some screening tools kind of where your child is, and if they need assistance, help refer you to programs that could help your child.
211呢还提供对孩子儿童的发育成长问题方面的协助。如果您对您自己的孩子的一些成长发育方面有问题呢，那么211可以向您推荐儿童发育成长的专家，对您的孩子进行评估，以及对他有可能需要的服务进行推荐。
So I just wanted to do a quick search to show people what results would look like. So you could see the child care provider's name, if they're accepting any new children or not, right? And some information about them. and then you can get more detailed information. So just wanted to show people that if you looked, what type of results you would get, what you would see.
所以 Amy 向大家展示了一个它的搜索结果。如果您搜索相关的托儿和育儿服务呢，那么有可能您会看到这样的一个结果。你可以看到这个机构的名称、地址、电话、网址以及是否接受新学生这样的一个信息。
Great. Those are the major areas. I'd love to know, do people have questions? Is there anything else they'd want to know? How can I be of help?
Actually, we have someone in the chat section asking if they can seek help regarding moving, relocation, or job seeking.
You can absolutely seek help for job seeking, and we work closely with the organizations in Connecticut who both help people find jobs and that also provide training for people if they're looking for training for a new or different job.
回答东东东提出来的问题，答案是完全可以啊，您可以211可以帮您连接和推荐您的搬家以及向您提供求职方面的信息。如果您所寻求的职业需要培训的话，他们也可以提供这方面的帮助。
I do not know of any moving or relocation services, but that would make for an interesting web search or to give a call and find out.
如果您打电话的话，您会获得更多的帮助。Do you ask and retain caller and children's identity information?
We only retain information if people apply for a program and we assist them in an application. All information we have is held confidential.
我们只有在人们提交申请时候填的这些信息呢会保存。那么这些信息呢，我们保存下来这些信息呢都是保密的。
We do not share what we call client level, so caller level or child level data with anyone. Again, other than if we assist someone in applying for a specific program. We do share data, which I think is helpful to know, to the state all the time, not people-specific data, but trend data. And when we do that, we can let the state know when things are working well or when there's a problem and help them have a better response. And that's also part of what we do in our role.
所以呢，我们是不保留私人的信息，我们也不像其他的商业像其他的公司和商业一样分享这个私人信息。我们唯一分享的资源呢就是州政府，但是呢，我们也分享的不是个人级别的资源，而是整个趋势方面的信息。
Any other questions?
How confidential the 211 call would be? Could the info a caller shares get him or her into trouble? For example, causing a legal issue.
We are reporters, mandatory reporters. So if it's an issue of child abuse or someone's in physical danger, we will report that information about a child that we're required to by law. And if, for instance, someone called us and they were having a mental health crisis and they had a loaded gun in their lap, we will call 911, right? If there's a life-threatening situation, we will call 911. But those are very, very, very rare calls.
211的电话呢是十分保密的，但是呢，有一个United Way 是有一个依法必须强制报告的系统呢，就是当他们意识到有虐待儿童或者有人有生命危险出现的时候呢，这个时候是必须依法上报的。
It's the same rules for like a doctor or a teacher. right? The same things they have to respond to, those types of safety questions.
就像医生和老师在工作的过程中遇到相似的场景一样，也是需要向911汇报的。How about elderly care?
Oh, absolutely. We have many calls about elderly care. Everything from, again, help with transportation to figuring out how to help people manage with major medical situations. So absolutely, please do call about elderly care.
如果您遇到与老人看护有任何与老人看护的问题，请积极的拨打211。
And Rain, I know you're watching the time, so I'm going to look for you to let me know how we're doing on time.
We are fine. We have 10 minutes left. So any more questions? We have this wonderful services available. So unfortunately, we didn't know it before. And so I hope everyone would appreciate these resources and raise question anytime.
Thank you. Right now, no one might need us. No one might be thinking, oh, I could use help. That's great. In fact, I love that. That is a wonderful situation. I've worked with 211 outside of the organization for years, and then and never called them for anything. And then one day I had a medical crisis in my family and I did not know what to do. And I panicked. And then all of a sudden I went, wait, I can call 211. And I did. And it was for not an immediate family member. It was for my aunt. I wasn't sure. I called about my aunt. It's not me. Is that okay? And the response was amazing and pretty life-saving, right? So you might not need us now, or your friends or your family, but there might be a point where I want you to remember, oh, I can call 211, or I can go to 211ct.org. That's my hope.
您也许现在不需要任何方面的帮助，这是一个很好的事情。但是呢，请您和您的家人一定记住，在您未来遇到任何突发的状况需要帮助的时候，您都可以随时随地的登录211的网站和拨打211的电话。
Right. Actually, in fact, we all had the moments we needed help. And typically we would ask friends. We would check our friend circle to get answer. But now we know a more efficient way.
I would say it's an and way, right? We always want to go to our trusted people in our lives. And they will have wisdom and information that no organization can replace. But as people, we only know what we know. And my hope is that in complement to the important people in your life, you now have another resource that might have information that's way beyond what your friends and family would know. And when you can bring those two things together, those trusted people in your life, plus all those resources, then I feel like that's when we can make really good decisions and get things done. So that's my hope, is that you have all of this available to you when you need it.
所以除了您的家人和朋友之外呢，请大家遇到任何问题的时候，积极的拨打211。如果当您把您的这两个资源都整合在一起的时候，您会发现您不是一个人。
Fengxi, I wasn't sure if we covered all the questions in the chat room.
Yes, the last question was elderly care. Yeah, we covered everything. At least from what I've seen.
We missed any question? Or you still have new questions?
I have covered every question from my screen. I'm not sure if I'm seeing all the questions but I've covered all the questions that appeared on my chat box. If Li Ping or Jack, if you can see any more questions, feel free to raise them. But the last one I've seen is how about elderly care?
And can I add one thing on?
Absolutely.
So sometimes people might need public services, right? Whether it's Medicare or something, SNAP food assistance, and they might be concerned about calling them. It could be immigration status, it could be other reasons. And we're a place you can call first to ask questions, right, about that, where you can know your information won't be passed on or used against you in any way if you're concerned about that. So if there are things out there that you might want to tap into, but you're hesitant for a reason, you can call 211 and we can be that place to talk to say that, no, go ahead and call, or these are concerns you might have.
Yeah, that helps. 请大家再想想，我们还有5分钟的时间，在我们的这个预计的结束时间之前还有5分钟，大家可以充分的讨论一下。
就是Amy 想提醒大家呢，211还提供这个公共服务方面的一些帮助，包括您对任何的 Medicare、Medicaid 有问题，或者您是需要移民方面的信息但是呢您有一些资源，但是你不确定应不应该和这些资源沟通和联系，可不可行？那么首先请您拨打211会帮你认证您到底应不应该向这些第三方资源去寻求帮助请相信211。
211会站在你一边。
Well, it was a pleasure to meet everyone. Again, happy Friday. And just to say again, let's keep this line of communication open. If there's anything happening where you think we can be helpful, never hesitate to reach out to me or to reach out to Kristen, who is an amazing colleague and a wonderful, your local partner, right, on the ground, working in Cheshire and the surrounding towns. You know, we're here to help, we're here to learn, and we're always interested in understanding how we can better meet the needs, particularly of newer populations in Connecticut, right? That's what we're here to do. And we just always want feedback, more information, more resources, and more ways we can help folks. That's what we do.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amy and Kristen. This is a wonderful presentation.
Good, I'm glad.
Amy 再次提醒大家呢，就是如果当你遇到任何有帮助的方面，生活中的种种方面都可以向211提供都可以向211寻求帮助。同时呢，如果您手头有一些你知道一些好的资源或者信息，你认为211可以利用到来帮助更多的人呢，请您也不吝分享提供给他们。谢谢大家。
另外要感谢所有到场的听众，我们大家一起把这个活动搞下去，让更多的人受益。谢谢大家。
And we thank all our audience for attending our seminar today. And let's hope that we can pass this on and make people become more aware of 211's existence. And let's get help.
我们有这个 WeChat group， 如果大家有进一步的问题，请大家务必在那里留言，我们会把这些问题反馈到United Way of Connecticut， 请 Amy 和 Kristen 他们帮助我们。
We welcome everybody to leave us a message or question that you didn't have time to ask in our WeChat group, and we're going to forward all your questions to Amy and Kristen. And they're there to help us.
Sounds great.
All right, so I give everyone back 1 minute.
Thank you.
I think I see someone raised a hand. Li Ping, is it okay if I mute this person? I think, oh. She's gone.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
If anything,
have a good evening. and a great weekend. Enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy
谢谢大
everyone.
家，周末愉快。
周末
Bye
愉快，
everybody.
再见。
Thank you, Amy and Kristen.